Well, ever since the first one took place in December of 2020, this matchup has just given us absolute fireworks. Of course, the first fight, Deiveson Figueiredo went in on top of the world. It ended up in a draw, so you got to do it again. Moreno came out with a lot of confidence, finished that fight in the third round. And then Figueiredo, like a champion, made some adjustments. Fight was very close in January of last year. It ultimately went to Figueiredo, setting up this fourth fight between them, something we have never seen in UFC history. And Michael, I want to start off the conversation with you because all those things I just talked about, all super interesting, right? And on top of that, you add to the fact that Brandon Moreno lost his head coach 5 weeks ago, James Krause, because he's involved in investigations into a potential gambling scandal. He's replaced with Saif Saud. I mean, this is another thing that we really don't see very often in this sport. What do you make of this situation, and what's your insight into how it could impact the fight?
Well, this is mixed martial arts, so expect the unexpected. But, you know, the game plan was set with James Krause before the coaching change. And what I love about Saif Saud is he brings that militant approach. And when you're going behind enemy lines, you want to be with someone like Saif Saud, a guy that's very militant, a guy that's very direct, a guy who's going to have a voice that's going to pierce through the crowd. And I've been on the other side of the octagon coaching against Saif, and he does a good job piercing into his fighters in those tough moments when they're on the stool, and it's not about telling them to throw the jab or to stuff the takedown, when it's about getting them fired up, to get them off the stool, to get them back in the fight. He does a good job of that, and you know that this is going to be a tough fight for Moreno. It's never going to be easy for either of these guys, whoever comes out the victor. And the other thing is, Saif also brings good training partners. He brought out Fernie Garcia, who's a good boxer, for Moreno to train with. So he brought the coaching, he brought some partners, he brought some new flavor.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on there, that it's going to be someone new there in Moreno's coach in very, very hostile territory. Gil, obviously, you know, we talk about the mental side of the sport, the psychological side of the sport, and just fighting the same guy, not once, twice, 3 times, now 4 times for these two guys. You were involved in one of the best trilogies in MMA history. What do you remember about your experience with Josh Thompson? And give us a little bit of insight into what's going on in the minds of these guys.
Well, when you fight someone for the first time, it's the element of surprise. You know, how strong is this fighter? How do they manage the distance? How quick are they? How tight is their grip? You gather all this data from the first fight. Unfortunately, I lost the first fight, but I was able to gather so much data, and I brought the best version of myself the second fight. So after 2 fights, we really knew each other very, very well. And by the third fight, we knew each other, so it came down to heart. It came down to determination. It came down to courage. Who wanted it more? And it was a very close fight. And for these two individuals, their first fight, they were able to gather all that data, the best of both of them, because it was a draw. That second fight, we kind of throw it out. Deiveson wasn't motivated, and Brandon wasn't going to lose no matter what. This third fight, they knew each other so well, but I believe they're both a little bit patient. This fourth fight, they're going to fight the same, but a lot more aggression. You know, Brandon Moreno needs to get it back, and I think Deiveson, he wants to put the pressure a little bit more, but still control the pace right there. So these guys know each other very well. It's who wants it more.
Yeah, it's going to be winner take all. So I think that they're both going to be wanting it a whole lot. And you know, Dean, I think that both of these guys we're going to look back and speak fondly of both Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. But when essentially you're fighting one guy over the course of 2+ years. What does this one fight mean to each of their legacies?
Well, hopefully it can mean it's the end of it. I'm sure that both of them are tired of seeing each other and definitely want to move on with their lives. But this is an important fight for both guys, and they have one thing in common in terms of the winner. The winner will solidify himself as the greatest flyweight since the Demetrius Johnson era. Mm-hmm. And that's important. And that's important for their legacy, and that's important for MMA in general. So both of them have a lot at stake here and have a lot on the line.
Yeah, and for how much blood, sweat, training, how much time they've invested in fighting each other, you know it's so important for either one of these men to come out the victor, to end this chapter in their career as the victor, as the person with the undisputed title, and to lay this to rest and move on. The last 3 years, it has been Deiveson Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Myself, I'm not quite over it. I could watch these guys fight 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and I would not complain a bit. But I know for either of these men, they want to get this win and move on.
100%. Yeah, as one guy put it in one of their camps, he said, they're both Hall of Famers in my eyes, but we got to win. We have to win this rivalry.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.